What up, YouTube? It's your favorite couple back again with another great episode of our podcast.
We still do.
So today's episode, man, it's pretty serious. You're going to take the lead on this, and I'm going to ride on my training wheels behind you, and I'm going to follow. So as I prepare the music, you tell the people what we're going to talk about.
Okay. This week we are going to be talking about a subject that I feel like a lot of couples go through, but maybe either like might not make it out or like don't make it through it, or they just don't really talk about it or don't know how to talk about it. And that is experiencing a miscarriage. So we recently in December of 2018 we experienced a miscarriage. And for those of you guys who don't know, we have 3 children of our own together, and throughout all of those pregnancies, we've never had
No complications.
We've never had a scare of a miscarriage. We never had any scares or any issues.
Denzel, they had to induce you. Daddy was
Damari. Yeah, with my second son, the biggest scare was they had to induce me, but I was still considered full term. I was at like 37 weeks. And they ended up having to induce me because of my small frame, and they thought that the baby wasn't going to have room to grow. And that was probably the biggest scare that we had out of all the pregnancies that I've had. But recently we had to deal with a miscarriage, and I will say that it was hard.
Very hard. It was hard for me to watch you have to go through it. And hearing how like your tone when you talked about it, seeing your face was hard. Yeah. And even doing this topic now is hard because I feel like if we go too far into it, you're gonna cry. I don't know, maybe you won't, but
yeah,
I think if you do, it's still not a bad thing. Like this is open discussion. It's genuine. This is not rehearsed. So crying is not a bad thing, but like I said, it was tough. I never forget when you called me and told me when it happened, and it was just like, and I wasn't here, and that was, I think, so that was a big
let
thing.
me start with the story. Like, so they have a backstory of, like why you weren't here and, where I was and stuff like that. That way they can kind of follow our conversation. So I started getting like some spotting, probably for like, it had been going on for probably like a week or so. And I mean, I had like spotting before my other pregnancies, so I wasn't really too concerned. I really wasn't feeling a whole lot of pain, so I'm like, okay, whatever. But when it went on for so long, that's when I was like, okay, it's been like a week. So I went into the doctor, and I remember I was at work. I left work, went to the emergency room, and that's when they told me that it was a possibility that I was having a miscarriage. They really didn't say for sure, but they said that it was a possibility, and to just kind of keep an eye on like the spotting or whatever. And then we went on our little family vacation. Remember we went to the timeshare?
Yes.
We went to the timeshare, and I was still spotting there when we were there. And that's when I called the doctor. I think I called the advice nurse, And I'm just like drawing a blank. I can't remember if it was from there. From there, I went back to the doctor.
When we left the vacation? You went to the doctor while we were still there.
While we were still there, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I went to the doctor while we were still there. And that's when I kind of found out. They still never told me.
Yeah, they never told us the whole time.
Yeah, like you're having. They never said like you're having a miscarriage. They always kind of kept it hopeful.
Yeah.
Like, well, let's just see, and just keep an eye on your spotting, and this and this and that. So I felt like that kind of, even though I think I just knew that it was happening, but that still kind of kept me hopeful. And I know for sure it kept you hopeful, because I don't think you thought I was going to have a miscarriage.
I wasn't thinking that at all.
The way that the doctor was talking, because they're like, well, we'll see what happens, and this, and us never going through that before. We're like, oh, okay, well, maybe not. But I kind of low key felt in the back of my mind, like, I don't know. So, anyways, they had like put me on bed rest or something. Mm-hmm. So I was, on bed rest, and at that point the spotting had like turned into bleeding. I was bleeding, and you went to go do a haircut, and so Deontay wasn't here, and I was in the bed, and I felt like I had to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom, and then that's when it happened. That's when, like, the baby passed, and like that feeling of like, I just knew right away. Instantly, I knew. And I was like, I lost the baby. Like, I knew at that very moment that I had lost the baby. And I just remember, like, just being super hysterical. Like, because I knew. I didn't even look in the toilet. I knew at that point. And I called Deontay. I told him what happened or whatever, and then I called my mom, I called one of my sisters, and everybody was like, okay, I'm gonna get there. And I remember just sitting on the floor in the bathroom, just sitting there like crying. Like, I couldn't flush the toilet. I just, like, I didn't have the strength to, like, flush it, because I felt like when I flushed it, then, like, that was really going to be, like, the end of it. Mm-hmm. Like, my baby was going to be gone. And so one of my sisters, she got here first, and she came, I don't know who lured her in the house, maybe one of the kids, I don't even know. But she came upstairs to my room and came straight to my bathroom and seen me on the floor, and she just took care of it. Like, she cleaned me up. I told her, like, I don't want to flush it. I don't want to flush the toilet. She was like, that's fine. You don't have to. And then I think shortly after that, you got here. You were here. So do you want to talk about it from your perspective and just like how you felt when I called you? Or
well, how I felt was, I mean, like you said, I went to go do a haircut, so I'm in the middle of doing this haircut, and then you call me, and I'm talking, and I let the guy know what had just happened, but I'm in the middle of doing the haircut. So it's like, I can't just be like, bro, I gotta go. Like, sorry, like you're gonna have to finish this on your own. So I'm like forced kind of to finish this haircut, but my mind is totally not on doing this haircut. Like, now I got to try to keep my composure and finish being, you know, professional and doing this haircut, but knowing like I don't know what state you're in. I don't know what's going on over here. I have no idea. Like everything you just explained, I didn't know that. So right. I'm not visualizing anything. All I know is you called me, you were crying, you told me that the baby passed, and I'm like, man, like I couldn't believe it. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like I've never experienced this, so I don't know like how to feel right now. Okay. Like I've had a lot of loss in my life, but never like my own child. Yeah. So as soon as I'm done, obviously I rush here and I get here and I'm just like, whatever I need to do, like I'm gonna do it, because I know how, and I won't even say I know, I have an idea of how hard it is on you, because everything takes place within your body and you have to see it, you have to feel it, you have to go through all of that. And you know me, I'm here to comfort you and do whatever you need me to do. I don't care what it is, I'm gonna do it. So like I'm like literally, when I'm here, I'm just like so alert and just like on eggshells. Like whatever you want me to do. You want me to get out, I'll get out. You want me to come in here, I'll come in. What do you want me to do? Kick everybody out? Whatever you wanted, I was willing to do it. But I still, till this day, I can't even like imagine being in your shoes and how you felt during that process. Like even hearing you explain it now, I still couldn't imagine it. Like, and you saying like you knew instantly when it happened, which you should know instantly. And I think like if I was in your shoes, I would have probably felt the same way. Like I don't want to flush it because this is my child. Like whether, you know, alive or not, I'm not gonna flush it. Like I would have, you know, kept it, took it out like what you did and everything. But I don't know. Like I can't speak on it because I can't imagine the feeling. Like even though you explained it, I still can't put myself in those shoes, like, and you know, just going through that process. Like it sucks, even though we went through it together, but it was really you who went through it.
I mean, and you did go through it too, but you know, I had got to one point where I was just like, I just don't feel like you are here for me. Like, I don't feel like you understand what I'm going through. I don't feel like you're helping me. I don't know. It was like a postpartum, like a depression. It was a depression. Because I legit, I felt depressed. And it's weird because it's like you don't see the baby, like you don't know what the baby looks like. You've never held the baby, but it's like I just lost my child. Like that's how you feel. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I don't know, it's a weird feeling to like try to describe it and put it into words. Unless you have gone through it, or unless you've experienced some type of loss like with your child. Because I would hear about people having miscarriages all the time.
Yeah, me too.
And never thought 2 seconds about it. Like never just be like, oh dang, that's sad, and that's it. Mm-hmm. I would never try to put myself like in their shoes or try to like understand how they feel, or like nothing like that, because it's just like, I don't know, it's one of those things that you hear about all the time, but until you experience it for yourself, then you just can't relate.
Yeah, you can't relate to it until it happens.
You know, you just can't relate. And I feel like
that's still how I feel. Like,
yeah,
even though we as a couple went through it, I still can't relate to what you went through.
Yeah.
I can just sympathize and be there for you, you know, as much as I can. But, you know, I can't sit here and act like, you know, I suffered just as much as you did. Even if I would have been here when it happened, it still wouldn't have been the same thing for me.
Yeah.
Like, it just would have been that, you know, I was here when it happened, and, you know, that was
yeah,
about
but
it.
you don't want to like discount it like you didn't have a loss too. Like, you don't have.
I'm not saying I didn't have a loss. I'm saying the physicality of it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't do. There's nothing that can duplicate that. Like, I can't be like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I know how you feel. I can't do that. But as far as the loss and the hurt, that we're on the same page with that.
Yeah.
But the detail of everything else, like, only
Yeah.
you. That's what I said. Even if I was here, I wouldn't have seen that, because you would have went in the restroom by yourself. I wouldn't have walked in there to the bathroom with you and watched everything happen. You know, so it still would have been something that played in your head like it does, that only you know. Like, you know, the only difference would have been, you know, in that story would have been, you know, I would have been there immediately after it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just can't put myself in those shoes. But shoot, like, and I think as a couple, as a married couple, like, it's one of those tragic things that, I mean, it'll only bring you closer or it'll push you apart.
Right.
Because it's all in the matter of, like how you said in that postpartum, you felt like, you know, I wasn't there.
Yeah, and you were.
Yeah, I know. I know
like,
I was.
You were.
But
I just felt
that's just how you felt.
Like, by myself and alone, and like.
And there were times where you wanted me to be like right there up under you, and there were times where you wanted to be by yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I got to give you what you want. I know that you need me to be there, so I can't just smother you, because then it's going to turn around and be like, you know, it's going to frustrate you. So it's like, okay, and I'm going to give her space when she needs space, but I'll just come back and I'll check on you and see, you know, when you're done with wanting that space.
Yeah.
But what I was saying, though, is, you know, in a marriage, you can feel like your husband's not there for you, and it can push you away, or maybe he doesn't know how to deal with it, and he's not there for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that I really do think that's, I mean, obviously it's not something everybody should go through. You know, right. I don't wish that on anybody. Right. But if you go through it, I really think it's something that you guys should talk about if you can, because I know it's such a traumatic event, but you should be able to talk about, you know, like, how you need to be there for me, you know, like, give me space, but not too much space. Like, don't go out, you know what I'm saying, be gone all night. Like, I just want you to just go downstairs, you know, go downstairs, right. You know, just let me be by myself for a little bit, you know, let you be up here and, you know, and mourn a little bit. And then I come back, and then, you know, we work on this thing together. Because I believe that it should make you closer. And I think it did make us closer, which we were already close anyway, but we never experienced anything like that in our relationship. Yeah. So, you know, us being able to overcome that and even sit here and talk about it and share it with the world is huge, because, you know, it's not something to be ashamed of at all, but I mean, it's not something you want to brag about either, but yeah, you know, it's life though.
And I feel like too, like, the reason, because it was my idea to like talk about it, I feel like there are people who like have experienced miscarriages, like multiple miscarriages sometimes, and they don't, like, you don't hear people talking about like what I did to get through my miscarriage, or I had a miscarriage too. Like that's not a popular subject to talk about. But I feel like people need to see the encouragement in it and know that like you can get through it. It is hard. You don't have to isolate yourself. You don't have to go in this like deep, dark depression, because that in the beginning, like that's what I found myself doing, especially like right afterwards, because you have all of the after like effects of it. Like you just had a baby. You know what I mean? You still have that whole recovery process like you just had a baby and there's no baby there. So it's like, it can mess with your mind. Like it can really start to like, just like mess with your mind, and you start experiencing like different emotions like anger, sadness, remorse. What did I do? What could I have done differently? Like you go through all these different emotions and you're entitled to all of those emotions, but you have to know that like once you go through all of that and you experience all of those emotions, that you have to like, get back up, pick yourself back up. Don't push away your support system, allow people to come in, allow people to like be there for you, because it's hard if you feel like somebody doesn't understand what you're going through. You don't really want them like, what are you going to tell me? It's okay. How do you know it's okay? Did this happen to you? Like, so I think it's just important for everybody out there to know that it is like a common thing that happens, and like you can get through it. And I remember one thing that the doctor kept saying that kept making me so mad was like she kept saying like this is normal, or this is natural.
Yeah,
that's what she kept saying. She's like, it's natural. And I'm thinking in my head like, no, it's not natural. Not for me. It's not. I've had 3 pregnancies and produced 3 healthy children from those pregnancies. So for you to just it's like they don't have answers.
They didn't have answers.
And for me, I'm like, well, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? It's just your body's way of rejecting and all this and all that. And I'm like, for me, like, I was like, no, that's not good enough. Like, you're a doctor, you get paid all of this money, you went to school for all these years, and you don't even have an explanation for why this happens to so many women. Like, you can't tell me why this happened to me?
This is natural.
And I think that was like making me mad. That's when I was going through my angry phase. Like, why are you telling me that you don't know why this happened to me? Like, so you don't know why it happened. You don't know any preventative measures I can take to prevent it from happening. Like, you're just putting all of this confusion and fear in my head. That's what you're doing.
I think that's why when people do have abortions, they fall into, certain depression states because they don't get answers and they never know what happened.
Abortion or miscarriage, Yanti?
I mean, yeah, miscarriage. I'm sorry. When they have a miscarriage, they end up, going into a dark place because nobody has an answer on why it happens.
Right.
So it's hard to overcome something when you don't know what you did wrong. And then I was going to get into, later on down the line, because I just knew for sure after this happened, like, yeah, she's never going to want to try to have another kid.
Yeah.
And, that's probably how it is for a lot of women. They're like, no, that was just too traumatic. Never want to try again. And we tried again. It just didn't happen. But when you said that you wanted to, I was like shocked. Like, really?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even going to mention ever again.
I think that like the main reason why I wanted to try again is because I didn't want that fear over my head. Like, I didn't want to be walking in fear. Like, I'm scared to try to get pregnant again because I don't want this to happen again. You know, I felt like me, like, even saying that I wanted to try again, that was me overcoming that fear of, like, you know, being that victim again to where I'm, you know, lose my baby. And I don't like to walk with things over my head, or I never want to walk in fear of anything. And for me, I found myself walking in fear and walking in a place to where I was like afraid. And I just, yeah, more than anything, it was just so I could overcome that fear. And yeah, I mean, it didn't happen, but you know, I guess that's God's will. But I just didn't want to be walking in that fear. That was the main reason that I wanted to try. Because we do have 3 healthy children that, you know, take up more than enough of our time.
They all need whoopings.
But it's just one of those things where it's like, nothing will fill that void of what you just lost. You lost it. You know what I mean? You lost it. That's just like if a child that we have right now were to pass away, we've lost that child. Whatever personality, whatever gifts, whatever was wrapped up in that child, it's gone. Like, yeah, you can have another child, but it's not going to be the same like the one that you had before. And that's how I looked at it. Like, whatever was wrapped up in the baby that I lost, it's not, you know, everybody is not created the same. Like, God doesn't just make clones of people. So whatever was wrapped up in that baby, it's in heaven now, you know. So I can't try to say let's have another baby so I can fill that void, because you can't. Once something is gone, you can't replace it. You can't, you know what I mean? Just, especially with the human life, you can't try to.
Everybody's different,
you know. So I mean, yeah, it is what it is now. I'm at a place where I can, you know, kind of talk about it and not.
I think you did good.
Not get too.
There were a few tears shed, which I knew.
It just, you know, it's because the feeling that I felt, I will never forget that feeling.
Right.
I'll never forget that feeling of when I felt the baby leave my body. I will never, ever forget that. And I just think that, yeah, every time I think about it, it's like, it's just crazy. Because it just, as soon as I think about it, I like flash back into time to that day. And I don't remember that day super like clear, but there are certain points in that day that I remember very clearly. It's weird, but you know, thank God I made it through. Thank God we made it through, because I was in a weird place to where I was like, I want you here with me, but I don't, like, you don't understand me, you know. It was just like, and I genuinely felt that way. Like, I really felt like he doesn't understand what I'm going through, you know. Why is he here? And then when you weren't, I'm like, well, what is he doing? He doesn't care. Like, those were like legit emotions that I was feeling.
And I was pretty much, my mindset was like, none of that even bothered me. Like, however you treated me, I didn't even care. I'm serious. Like, however I was being treated, it was just like, I don't care. Like, she deserves to be able to treat me like crap if she wants to, and if she's gonna be nice, then I'll accept that too. I'm like, when you go through something like this, I can't be picky and choosy. Like, I can't sit up here and be like, listen, I know what, you know, you just went through. Like, it was my baby too, and I'm trying to be here for you, so you either need to let me be here for you, or you know, I can't be like that. I mean, I could, but that's not the right way to do it. My mindset was like, whatever I don't care if you cuss me out and then told me you love me and then told me to get out but be back in 10 minutes, like all in the same breath, I'll be like, okay, I love you too, I'm gonna go walk around the block and then I'll be right back. Like, that was my mindset. Like, I'm gonna let her get away with any and everything right now for as long as it takes for her to get better, because like I said, like, this is something that happened to us, but it mainly happened to you.
Yeah.
So me not being able to walk in those shoes and feel what you felt, I felt like the least I can do is literally just let you walk all over me and treat me however you wanted to. Like, that was my mindset. I mean, and it helped, because it's like once you got to the point where, you know, you came back to reality and started, you know, realizing that I'm here, it's still me, then, you know, things got better. Then we were able to, you know, talk a little more. It wasn't like,
and I
walking
wanted to
on
say
thin ice.
too that I journaled a lot during that time. Well, I usually journal, but I journaled a lot because I just felt like I couldn't really like talk to Deontay. I felt like I couldn't talk. Like, I just felt like I was by myself, which is weird. It's weird to say it out loud, but that's really how I felt. But I journaled a lot, because you can't bottle up those emotions. Like, you have to get them out one way or another. And if you're not talking to someone, then you at least need to be like journaling it, writing it down, something, because you don't want to just bottle up those emotions, because they'll, you know, build up and fester on the inside of you. But yeah, that was it, guys. I hope that this conversation really helps somebody. If nothing else, thank you guys for allowing me to open up. Thank you for listening to our story. We're here to encourage you guys. That's why we do this podcast. We don't just like sitting in front of a camera. We really try to pick topics that we feel like are going to help people and encourage people, and really that are like relevant. Like, we don't just want to be sitting here talking about, you know, the latest celebrity scandal or the latest, like,
who cheated on who.
We don't like
Popeye's chicken sandwich.
Which we still haven't tried yet, by the way. But we do want to get subscribers, and we do want to, you know, we want to get out there, but we want to have the right people following us, and people who really are looking for encouragement. That's what we're here for. We're here to encourage and share our stories and share our testimonies, and hopefully it can bring light to somebody else's life. Like, that's why we're here. So I hope that this episode did that. Yeah,
enough people know me and you already. I mean, we don't need the world to know us, really. I mean, like you said, encouragement.
Yeah,
even if it's the same amount of viewers we got for the next however long we do this, as long as people are getting encouraged. And we've been getting some feedback from couples that tell us like, yep, that hit home, this, that, what you said, that. And to hear that is encouraging to us, and it keeps us going. It's like, okay. And especially when you don't even realize it, it's a gratifying feeling. So thank you guys for letting my wife share her story.
With that being said, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel if you guys don't already subscribe already.
Hit the subscribe button.
Follow us on our Instagram page at we_still_D0. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you guys think about our content. We are trying to be a little bit more active on Instagram. So we're trying to do like more IGTV videos and, you know, stuff throughout the week periodically when we have time.
Then you can leave comments.
And then we'll have like our longer episodes like this on YouTube. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram as well.
At what?
At we_still_D0.
Did you say it already?
I did.
Oh, dang. My bad. I usually be listening. I forgot that quick. All right. Well, that is all for today, folks. Shout out to me for these shirts.
Shout out
Let
to
me get my
yourself.
plug in. Y'all have to read it from left to right, okay? Let's let the people see the shirt, okay? This shirt proves we're made for each other, okay? We still do logo on the bottom. If you need a shirt, hit us in the DM. I can make it say whatever you want it to say. This is gonna be some we still do merch, you know, make some nice shirts. People were tripping out when it was just me or it was just her, like, your shirt is not making any sense. Like, we had to stand next to each other because that's the way it should be. When we're next to each other, everything comes together. When we're apart, everybody's like, where's Moo at? Where's Deontay at? But when we're together, it's like everybody just assumes like everything is okay. So these shirts make it known. But yeah, with that being said, I'm Deontay.
And I'm Maymuna. And we still do.